All right, so my model. My model. All right, so her primary concern is her tip. That's what she says. But people always see certain things. So her tip is definitely bigger, and she's got really strong cartilage. So you can actually see the cartilage through her skin here. You see that? You know, it's kind of cool. So she has thin skin, which is really good. Thin skin is actually a good thing in a way because this way you can see the changes that I make. The problem with people with really thick skins is that you can make changes to these cartilages, but you don't appreciate the finesse changes. So you can see here, even if I narrow the nose like that a little bit, that's going to make a big difference. And that's actually the direction we're going to go in. And these two little points right here are her tip defining points, and that's the cartilage. So the cartilage comes up, these lower lateral cartilages come up through the columella. She also has a bifid columella. You see how this has a little cleft in there? And she also has asymmetry, so her ala are a little bit different from side to side. This one's a little bit thicker, this one's a little bit smaller. So the moral of the story is we all have asymmetries of our noses, everybody, but it doesn't mean we have to correct it. It doesn't mean it's wrong, right? She's a little wide here as well, and she's got a little bit of a dorsal hump. So I'm excited about her nose for a lot of reasons, but she's just so beautiful, which is amazing. And so I say, well, what's my goal? My goal is really to make her nose so it fits her face better. And so we're going to work on the tip to make that more refined. I'm going to rotate it ever so slightly, not that much. She's about 90 degrees now. I want her just up ever so slightly. We're going to narrow the bones here because she's a little wide at the base, and we're going to take this hump down. And then I'm going to check out her breathing on the inside with her turbinates and all this kind of stuff. So I know it sounds really easy peasy. I wouldn't try this at home. But today, hopefully, we're going to try to pick up on what I call just a finesse rhinoplasty, sort of to deal with the basic features and make some corrections that'll make her nose fit her face better so that she's as beautiful as she looks when she sees herself in the mirror. Things I always tell everyone about her nose, and I told her as well, is that it's not going to be perfect. No one's perfect, but there will be a really nice difference. And anytime I get excited about doing a nose, it's for good reason, that we're going to get a nice result, and it's just a lot of fun. So that's pretty much the analysis of the nose, and we're going to do it through a small incision here in the columella that hides really well. Thing takes us about an hour and a half to 2 hours depending, and we're actually going to show you the procedure if you want to watch it, and then we're going to show you her before and after several months later. It takes a nose about 2 years for all the swelling to go away. It's not like you're swollen during that whole time, but it actually keeps changing for the better. So if we wait 2 years, who knows where she'll be. So we try to get her back after a few months and try to show you the early result anyway, so you can get an idea of what we did and how the changes. You'll actually see the changes on the table, but it really manifests itself a little bit down the line. That's the story. I'll see you in the back. What I've learned in 30 years is that it's a complicated operation, and it takes time to master. And I can tell you that I've never really gotten to a point until about, let's say, 10 years ago, where I started to feel really confident with the rhinoplasty. And I do a fair amount of them. They're tricky. It's a delicate operation. It's measured in millimeters, not big segments or anything like that. It's all millimeters, and there's an art to it. So I can tell you this, that if you're considering a rhinoplasty, you have to go to experienced surgeons that know what they're doing, and be aware of the skills that are required for this. It's kind of an artful operation, so seek out the most experienced people. And in her case, it's actually fun. This is going to be a classic nose, a little bit of a hump, a little bit of tip refinement. So in this movie, we're going to kind of show you all the kind of features that happen in most rhinoplasties. Most of the time it's to make them smaller. For her, this is a simple, kind of an uncomplicated rhinoplasty. So I think this is going to be a fun one to watch. Patient is here back from a rhinoplasty or nose job. Now, first things you can see is that she does have a smile, so that's a good thing. She has trouble breathing through her nose, so that when she had the packing in, that's not cool. But she said she was so out of it, she didn't even realize that. Taking out the packing the next day was
not very fun, but quick at least.
Because it's like this long each nostril, and you just pull it out and that kind of thing. And then you can see she's got some bruising around the eyes, which is real common after you have a fracture of the nasal bones. And I remember your fracture. She had She had a big fracture, right? Yeah.
Big fracture.
So a lot of stuff was going on in her case. And I could see right away the tip's pretty swollen, but it's nice. I mean, everything looks oriented, so the way it's supposed to be. The tip is always going to be more swollen because it's not covered by anything. She doesn't have their little, what do you call that stuff? Steri strips are not there. And she's pretty swollen in the whole mid-face. But not bad. I mean, like I said, it's the gift that keeps giving. So this is what we call a Denver splint here. And her stitches are on the columella here. And we put a little bit of numbing cream. So take off the splint. We just kind of sneak underneath these steri strips. It's not uncommon to get pimples underneath here because it blocks the pores. So I always tell everybody don't be alarmed if they have pimples. So that's off. I can see a nice dorsal alignment already. I see 2 nice dorsal lines here. A lot of swelling, but you know, everything looks good. Things are narrow, the bones are together. Again, more swelling on one side than the other. This whole tip complex is really swollen, but not bad. You get the idea. And the tip is above the dorsum, which is nice. So everything looks here just the way it's supposed to be. How's your breathing and stuff?
Oh, I can breathe just fine.
No, that's good. Always got to breathe. So basically what we're seeing is a ton of swelling right now, but not that bad. She's probably a little bit more swollen than most people, but, you know, as I tell anyone with the rhinoplasty, it's a gift that keeps giving. You have to wait months for this to get better and better. Most of this will be gone in a few weeks, but it takes about 2 years for all the swelling to go away. So it's actually pretty cool. And then you have a, no you don't, huh? A mirror?
Yeah, can I see it?
Yeah, well, that's like the whole purpose. So we just show her what's going on down there. Ooh, you get the idea, right?
Yes.
So nice straight dorsal lines, lots of swelling. I mean, she's super swollen, but that's just going to keep going away. And you know, they're all worried about the side view for the selfie, so she doesn't have a hump. You know, I don't even remember what her nose used to look like. You have a.
I've got it.
So what did she have?
I gotta grab it.
Look at she's like silent over there. Oh, so she had something bigger than she has now, right?
I'll bring it in.
Yeah, I used to have, I mean, it wasn't huge, but I had a little hump. And
oh, you got a little humps going, yeah. Well, she had what we call a, yeah, she had a finesse rhinoplasty. So she had a little graft that I put on the right side of her nose, and I tried to actually camouflage that little irregularity, blah, blah, whatever. And so she felt it's like the little thing that I did that destroyed everything. And so she complained about it bitterly. She wasn't bitter, but anyway, put a little steroids in there, and guess what? Problem went away. And I could see on the inside that it's just not obstructing at all. So she's doing really well there. And so this is all, the tip's real nice. The cartilage is still healing. You're still numb? Or you feel that? That's kind of unusual. Usually the tip stays numb for quite some time. Nasal bones are looking pretty good. She's got a nice alignment. And you know what the funny thing is? It just fits her face really nicely, so that at the end of the day, it's not like she had a terrible nose, but this fits her better. So really the question now is, what do people say or don't say? Is it surprising?
No one has said anything.
Bam! Isn't that the weirdest thing? Bam! Nobody says anything. Now that to me is the ultimate nose job. Because like, basically we just went through this and you can see there's a big difference, right?
Yeah.
But then why is it that nobody notices?
Well, I think mostly it was because I didn't bruise really badly. And so I went back to my normal life a week and a half after because I took off spring break.
So no one could believe you had surgery in that period of time?
I didn't have any bruising, so no one would know. And it was swollen enough that it looked almost exactly like my old nose. And then the swelling has slowly decreased, and no one noticed.
It's been the gradual rhinoplasty.
So that's her interpretation. So mine would be a little bit. My spin would be more like, okay, wait a second. It looks like a nose.
Well, it looks like my nose.
You know what I mean? In other words, it looks like a nose. It's not a Michael Jackson like.
It's not overdone.
Yeah, it's not overdone. So you don't have the whole, oh, how are you thing, or ski slope, or worse, or crooked and all sorts of issues and stuff like that. So that's exactly what you don't want. But if you make a nose look like a nose, then nobody knows. Think about that. That's pretty good. Look like a nose, make it like a nose, and nobody knows. But it's all good.
And it still looks like my old nose. It's just smaller.
Yeah, it's just smaller. So exactly, it's just smaller and cuter and just fitting. So that's a typical nose. It's just, we're not going to reinvent a lot of stuff. Just make it smaller, cuter, and more fitting and proportional to your face, and I think that it really rocks. And don't promise people things that it can't be done. And so what I try to tell, and I use Michael Jackson as the story all the time, so it's like, Michael asked, and he's great, by the way, Michael asked for something that couldn't be done. He had a big, wide nose, and you just can't take that covering, all that skin, and make it a small little itty bitty nose, and so that's how he got into trouble. So when people come for my rhinoplasty, it's just basically, okay, tell me what you want, but I'll tell you what we can do. It's just sort of a give and take, and in her case, it was easy to make her look amazing because she looks amazing, right? So anyway, that's our warm up and end up for today's in her rhinoplasty. I'm going to add this to the whole, journey of your whole stuff, and hopefully it'll be helpful to people out there trying to learn what a nose is all about. Congratulations.